What's up guys, Jesse and Melissa here, and today we're talking about a subject that is kind of, I guess, rare in the RV world.
Definitely. We are here to talk to you about driving separately as full-time RVers.
Yeah, we've been driving separately for what, like 6 months? I'm horrible with the time.
Since the end of April, so like 4 months.
4 months. It feels like 6 months. There's a lot of pros and cons to it. I think it's just fairly uncommon because of the cons, but we are realizing that we actually really like it, and we're gonna break it down into the pros and the cons.
So the reason why driving separately in RV life is not super common is because it's really not necessary most of the time. We went the first 2 years of RV life with only one vehicle, and there were definitely some times when we thought it would be convenient to have 2 vehicles, but we got by with one 99% of the time.
We're gonna start with the cons because they're fairly straightforward. Number one, you're gonna have double the fuel. And we chose a 1989 Grand Wagoneer that gets 13 miles to the gallon. So it's not like we're in a Kia Optima or something like that.
Totally a great, logical, and cost-effective choice.
Con number two, we chose a 1989 Grand Wagoneer. So maintenance, it breaks a lot, it has a lot of issues. You're gonna have that with any car. You're gonna have oil changes, you're gonna have tires, you're gonna have stuff like that. So that's a pretty obvious con. Con number three will be registration, fees, stuff like that, licensing, titles, all that kind of stuff. You're gonna have that with no matter what car you have. Basically, the cons in a nutshell, well, the major part of them are it's gonna be expensive.
Something that we've actually done to save ourselves some money and to make that extra registration and extra insurance sting a little bit less, we actually recently became residents in South Dakota, established domicile there. That's a pretty common thing for full-time RVers, so if you're interested in anything like that, we do have another video about it, and we would recommend doing your own research as well.
Yeah, and we have one more con. We haven't experienced it that much yet because typically we drive 1 to 3 hours roughly every 7 to 10 days. But that con we're experiencing right now, and it's when we're both tired because we're making a big drive across the country, but we commonly don't do that. So that's not necessarily something that we feel on a weekly, daily, or monthly basis.
There is one more con that we've actually turned into a pro, and that is not being able to talk to your family members while you're driving separately. You know, we actually solved this problem by installing race radios in both vehicles. Those have really long range, at least a few miles, so we can still communicate up to a pretty far distance.
Yeah, we have VHF radios that are hardwired into the Jeep and the Ram, and we get a really good distance, so we don't have to be dealing with our phones or texting or calling, which is illegal in a lot of states. So
also
the radio,
pain in the butt.
Yeah, also a pain in the butt. So the radios are great and they work really well. Starting with the pros. This is one, to be honest, I didn't really think about until we were actually doing it. And this is being able to leave our truck and trailer hitched up. So there's been a lot of instances when we'll be just staying one night or two and we'll just be at camp most of the time, but like if you want to just, oh, we need this grocery, or there's been times when we have ran to a national park that was not that far away and we could leave our truck and trailer hitched up. We hopped in the Jeep and we went and did some exploring, and it's really convenient.
Well, Jesse, that was an excellent segue into my next point, which is having 2 vehicles. If we're going out somewhere together, it always looks like there's a car at camp. So it always looks like there's somebody home.
Yeah, so if we leave the trailer, like normally we would leave the trailer and the trailer would just be there by itself. But now we can either leave the Ram or the Jeep there, and it just looks like somebody's at home around camp, like less likely for somebody to break in or for somebody to take something.
Or try to hitch up our trailer and drive away with it.
Yeah, we haven't had any issues even before we had the second vehicle, but now it's just a little bit more peace of mind. Well, Melissa, that leads me right into another segue.
Ooh.
Which is safety while boondocking. So there's lots of times when I will go do errands, I'll go grocery shopping, I will go do laundry, and now we always have a vehicle to ourselves. Like, God forbid there's an emergency at camp, Melissa chops her finger off cooking or something. Now she has a vehicle if she needs to go into town, and lots of times we're way out in the middle of nowhere. Like, you guys know this channel, we love to boondock, we go to really far locations, so it's just nice knowing that she has a vehicle if she needs it for an emergency.
Yeah, I mean, what if there's an evacuation because of a forest fire? Like, that's a very real concern, and we actually did have to leave a boondocking spot one time last summer because of forest fires in the area. Another huge pro for me is the ability to divide and conquer errands. There was one time specifically where I went to the grocery store and Jesse went to go dump the tanks, and so that normally would have taken twice the amount of time, but we were able to get that task done in half the time because we have 2 vehicles and we're able to split up.
This one is super important to me. You guys know we love to off-road. We love to go way out in the boonies. This is a big one. We bought the Jeep with the intentions of doing a full off-road / overlanding, pre-landing build, and that's going to be happening very soon, so look forward to that content. But what is great about that is, like, now we can go by ourselves but have 2 vehicles. We both love to drive, we both love to wheel and all that kind of stuff, but now if we get stuck, we have another vehicle that can recover the other. If our battery dies, we have another vehicle to jump the other. If something breaks, we can go drive out in the other vehicle, get help, what have you. Overall, it just gives an added sense of security, and it allows for much more fun while off-road.
For the most part, since we got the Jeep, I've actually been towing the truck and trailer. Well, I've been driving the truck and towing the trailer. And one of the greatest things about having Jesse in a separate car is that he can spot me if I get into like a weird situation or I can't really see behind me and I need to back up or whatever. He's able to communicate with me on our radios and tell me what to do and tell me how far back I can go, and that has been a huge help.
So we're currently walking on the super uneven ground to make this video a lot nicer for you guys. This is something that we thought about slightly, and we now realize that it's really nice, and that's alone time. We're good, like we're good. But we do live in a trailer that's 17 feet long together. We work together 24/7. So it's nice when you do an hour drive, you get alone time. You can listen to your own podcast, your own music. You could just sit there in the quiet and listen to the sweet, sweet noise that your 89 Grand Wagoneer makes.
Guys, I really need to practice my improv because you left me wide open for a great opportunity and I just blew it. Ugh.
This whole segment is supposed to be about alone time. Like, obviously, you can tell we get along great, but I think every relationship, it's healthy to have some private alone time, and that's a great time to do it. So this is a huge one, and that's why we left it for the end, because that's like what YouTubers do. So hopefully you like watch to the end and then you're like, oh, this was informative, and then you give it a thumbs up.
It's our #1 positive aspect of driving separately.
And that is scouting boondocking locations. We didn't give it much thought, to be honest, but there's been so many times now where we'll go to an area and with friends caravanning as well, and we'll all pile into the Jeep, we'll go scout, we'll go check internet, we'll make sure that our rigs can make it into that area, and it saves so much time because we can scoot in there real quick with the Jeep, be like, oh no, this is no good, or there's no internet, and then, or if it's good, then we just scoot back and we drop people off and we bring the rigs in. I mean, it's pretty simple, but it's so convenient.
It's pretty similar to those that have maybe a Class A or a Class C and a tow vehicle. They can easily unhitch and drive separate anytime that they need to. But for us, we've always owned either a fifth wheel or a travel trailer. So we always had to unhitch and then go scout with the truck, come back, pick up the trailer, hope that our spot that we scouted was still open when we got there, and just hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a pain in the butt.
To be honest, we really didn't unhitch, but we also put ourselves in really sketchy situations with our massive fifth wheel.
Not advised.
Or even with our small trailer, we've gone up, like in Moab, we took some Jeep trails with our trailer that were not advisable. So now we can scout it out very easily, know if it's safe, if there's internet, all that kind of stuff, and make it a lot easier to get to camp. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think it's a subject that is not talked about that often because it's just not very common, but there's a lot of pros. I think it's good for a lot of people. Maybe not for everyone, but we've enjoyed it so far.
So if you have any questions, you know, I think we did a pretty good job of covering our thoughts on the matter, but if you have any questions or anything else you'd like to ask us, please let us know down in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them. Thanks for watching.